The stars above the human colony of New Terra 4 were quiet. A soft wind passed over the green hills. Children played under the glowing sky domes while parents harvested food from tall crop towers. The colony had been at peace for 5 years. It was small, safe, and far from the center of galactic politics. That peace ended the day the Empire came. A dark ship, shaped like a long blade, appeared without warning. It broke through the sky dome and landed near the colony center. No message. No warning. The colonists froze in fear as soldiers in black armor marched out. Their leader, an alien called Commander Selrex, held up a data crystal and said only one thing: "We are here for the child." Among the crowd, hidden behind her mother's coat, was a small human girl with bright green eyes. Her name was Arya Voss. She was only 6 months old and had just learned to sit up. She laughed when the sunlight touched her hands. Her mother screamed when the soldiers took her. The colony guards tried to resist. It was useless. The Empire's weapons cut through walls and shields with ease. Within minutes, the soldiers were gone. The ship vanished into the sky, leaving behind fire, fear, and silence. The colony sent a message to Earth. That message traveled across the stars, across relay stations, satellites, and jump gates, until it reached the heart of Earth's military command. And when it did, General Ethan Voss stopped, breathing for a moment. Ethan stood alone in the war room, staring at the message. His steel-gray eyes stayed locked on the image of his daughter, tiny, crying, reaching for her mother as she was carried away. No one spoke. No one dared. Ethan Voss wasn't just any general. He had led humanity through 3 interstellar wars. He had saved Earth from extinction more than once. His soldiers followed him without question. He was known by many names: the Iron Shield, the Unbroken, the Ghost of Saul. But here, in this moment, he was not a warrior. He was a father. His hands clenched into fists. His voice, cold and steady, cut through the room. Who gave the order? The officers looked at one another. The Empire had claimed the abduction was a protective extraction, that Arya's genetic code matched a profile needed for diplomatic security studies. A lie. Everyone knew it. The Galactic Council, the so-called peacekeepers, sent a weak reply. They would look into the situation. Ethan Voss didn't wait. He left the room. 48 hours passed. No one knew where he went. No one dared to ask. When he returned, Earth's flag was flying upside down, a symbol used only during total war. He walked into the central chamber of the Terran United Command, faced the 12 High Marshals, and said, "My daughter has been taken." The cue. "Empire has made its move, now we make ours." He placed a data chip on the table. "This is Project Athena. Activate it." As of this moment, Earth is at war. Within hours, every fleet in Earth's reach received new orders. Civilian starports turned into military hubs. Factories shifted to war production. New prototype ships once hidden in shadow took flight. The Terran AI network lit up, calculating attack vectors. Across 5 sectors, Empire stations were struck by unseen weapons. Stealth drones hacked planetary shields. Orbital satellites turned into kinetic missiles. No one saw it coming. No one expected humans to move this fast. On the edge of a distant system, Captain Lenara Threx of the Empire's 7th Fleet stared at her shattered command screen. "What is happening?" she whispered. Her second-in-command, a large insectoid called Carr, replied with cold fear in his voice. "The humans have declared war, Captain. All-out war." Meanwhile, in deep space, inside a black ops cruiser with no name, General Voss stood before a team of enhanced operatives. Each one had fought beside him. Each one owed him their life. He looked at them, his voice steady. "They took my daughter. But this isn't about just one child anymore. This is about what they think they can do to our people, to all of humanity. We're going to find Arya, we're going to bring her back." One of the soldiers, a tall woman with cybernetic eyes, raised her hand. "And the Empire, sir?" Voss's eyes narrowed. His voice turned cold. "We burn them to the ground." Back on New Terra 4, the colony tried to rebuild, but the people were different now. They spoke in quiet voices. They remembered the black ship. They remembered the girl with green eyes. One boy, just 10 years old, looked up at the stars and said to his father, "They took her. Won't they take more?" The father placed a hand on his shoulder and pointed to the sky. "They will try, but this time, we're not afraid." And across the stars, in a hidden lab on a forgotten moon, little Arya Voss sat in a strange room filled with glowing lights. Machines hummed around her. A cold voice spoke through speakers, trying to teach her alien words. But Arya did not cry. Her father had once told her mother that human children were stronger than anyone knew. And somewhere, deep in her baby mind, she remembered something. Warm arms, a soft heartbeat, and a voice that whispered, "I'll always come for you." The galaxy had always believed humans were behind the times. Slow, weak, divided. The Galactic Empire looked down on Earth, calling it a young world, and its people emotional creatures. But the Empire made one mistake. They took a human child, and not just any child. They took Arya Voss, the daughter of General Ethan Voss, the most dangerous human alive. Now the humans were showing the galaxy who they really were. Across 5-star systems, the Empire's bases were under attack. Ships with no heat signatures appeared out of nowhere. They destroyed fuel depots, communication towers, and command centers in minutes. Empire officers panicked. They had never seen technology like this. These weren't the slow, heavy ships the Empire remembered from the last war. These new human ships were silent, invisible, and fast, like shadows made of steel. At the front of every battle, one name appeared over and over in Empire reports: Project Athena. It was Earth's secret war program, activated by General Voss himself. Inside the Athena Command Corps, located deep under the surface of Mars, artificial intelligence systems ran millions of simulations every second. These AIs didn't just control weapons, they thought like human soldiers. They predicted enemy moves, adapted quickly, and fought with terrifying precision. General Voss sat inside a dark command room, watching a live map of the galaxy. Psych. Officers stood around him waiting for orders. A red dot blinked on the map. Empire Lab Facility, Sector K92. It was one of the Empire's hidden research stations, and according to new intel, Arya might be there. Voss didn't speak right away. He stared at the screen with hard eyes. "Is Task Force Revenant ready?" he asked. A colonel nodded. "Yes, sir. Waiting on your word." Voss stood up. His voice was cold and clear. "Send them in. We're bringing her home." Task Force Revenant was not a normal military unit. It was made up of Earth's most elite soldiers, humans enhanced with cyber implants, training beyond imagination, and loyalty only to General Voss. They moved in silence, their black armor reflecting no light. They were like ghosts, impossible to detect, impossible to stop. Their ship, the Phantom's Edge, entered Empire space using a secret gate. It appeared near Sector K92 and immediately went into stealth mode. On board, Commander Rika, the team leader, gathered her squad. "Our mission is clear," she said. "We find the child. We bring her back. If anything stands in our way, we remove it." The team nodded. "For Earth," they whispered. "For Arya," Rika added. Meanwhile, in a grand hall on the planet, Zenthari, leaders of the Galactic Empire, held an emergency meeting. The room was full of alien races, tall, short, insect-like, reptilian, and more. But they all shared one thing in common: fear. They had never seen humans fight like this. Admiral Korlax, a large reptilian with golden armor, slammed his fist on the table. "They've destroyed 6 bases in 2 days. This is not war," said a nervous diplomat. "This is annihilation." One elder alien, old and wise, looked around the room. "You should not have touched their child," he said softly. The others looked away. Back on Earth, the people had changed. Streets were quiet. Factories worked day and night. Posters showed Arya's face, one of us written underneath. People didn't cry. They built, Children trained in defense drills. Teenagers volunteered for service. Even the old helped in research, labs, or taught survival classes. Earth wasn't broken, it was focused. In one school, a boy named Leo looked at Arya's photo and whispered to his friend, "They took her. That means they'll try to take more." His friend nodded. "Not if we fight back first." Inside the Phantom's Edge, Task Force Revenant arrived near the Empire's secret lab. It was hidden inside an asteroid field protected by heavy shields. But the humans had a plan. They released micro-drones, no bigger than a fly. These drones slipped through the smallest holes in the shield and mapped the entire base from inside. Once they had the layout, Rika gave the signal, "Go dark." The ship disappeared from all sensors. Then the humans struck. They entered the base silently, cutting through doors without sound, knocking out guards with precise shots. Cameras went blank. Alarms never rang. Inside a locked room, they found something shocking. Multiple human children, not just Arya. The Empire had been kidnapping children from other colonies too, testing their minds, their DNA, turning them into living machines. Rika looked around, her heart heavy. Then she heard it. A small voice coming from the far end of the room. "Mama?" It was Arya. She was older now, about 6 years old, her green eyes still bright, but her face pale from years in a lab. Wires had been connected to her arms. Machines monitored her brain, but she was awake. Rika rushed to her side and knelt down. "Arya," she said gently, "we're here to bring you home." Arya stared at her. Then she blinked. Something inside her remembered a song, a voice, a warm feeling. "Dad?" she whispered. Back on Earth, General Voss watched the mission feed from his command screen. When he heard his daughter's voice say "Dad," he sat down slowly. For the first time in years, his hands shook. The mission wasn't over. Enemy forces began to close in. The lab was preparing to self-destruct. Rika and her team had to fight their way out, carrying the children with them. They moved fast, shields up, weapons blazing. For the first time, Empire soldiers saw human. Eyes glowing with fury and fearlessness. The Phantom's Edge blasted out of the asteroid field just before the lab exploded. They had Arya. They had the proof, and now they had a reason to go further. The Empire had ruled the galaxy for thousands of years. Planet after planet had bent the knee. The people feared the Empire's power, its massive fleets, and its cold, unshakable laws. But now, something was changing. For the first time in a century, the Empire was losing, and it was losing to humans. The lab on asteroid K-92 was gone, blown apart during the rescue mission. But before it was destroyed, the human soldiers had downloaded everything, every file, every experiment, every crime. Inside the data was proof that the Empire had kidnapped more than just Arya Voss. They had taken hundreds of children from frontier colonies. Many were missing. Some had died during experiments. The Empire had been trying to build a weapon, not a machine, but a mind that could think faster than any computer, a mind like Arya's. The files were sent to every corner of the galaxy. Human diplomats published them to neutral planets and even to Empire citizens. People were shocked, angry, afraid. On the desert world of Kalor, a traitor threw down her Empire citizenship badge and burned it. On the jungle moon Krivax, a rebel leader read the files and whispered, "Now we fight." And on the Empire homeworld of Velkar Prime, whispers filled the air. For the first time in ages, the Empire's people were questioning their masters. Inside, the Imperial Palace, high above the clouds of Velkar Prime, the Empress sat in her golden throne. Her name was Virelia the Silent, and she ruled with fear, not words. Below her stood the High Council, tall alien figures in polished robes. All of them were nervous. "The humans are turning the galaxy against us," said one. "We underestimated them," said another. "General Voss is too dangerous. We must destroy Earth completely." The Empress raised one finger. Silence filled the room. "Find the girl," she said at last. Her voice was soft but sharp like a blade. "She is the key. Without her, they are just angry parents. With her, they are heroes." The council bowed. Orders were given. The hunt for Arya Voss began. Far away in the human capital of New Geneva, Arya sat in a healing center with a soft blanket over her shoulders. Her green eyes looked out a large window at the stars. She didn't speak much. She had spent years alone in labs, but she was learning. Beside her sat a woman named Dr. Mira Lane, a mind specialist. "Do you remember anything from the lab?" she asked gently. Arya nodded slowly. "They made me listen to voices. They wanted me to move ship with my mind." Mira leaned forward, surprised. "Did you do it?" Arya hesitated. Then she looked up. "One time, I did. The ship moved when I got angry." In another part of the city, General Ethan Voss stood in a meeting room with Earth's leaders. His face was hard, his voice calm. "We have the proof. The Empire kidnapped our children. Now the galaxy is watching. We must act." A senator raised his hand. "Shouldn't we focus on defense? The Empire might attack again." Voss shook his head. "If we wait, they'll just come back stronger. We don't just defend, we finish what they started." He tapped on the hollow table and a new operation appeared. Operation Starfall, a deep strike into the Empire's heart. "We go to Velkar Prime. We break the symbol of their power." The room went silent. "Are you sure?" another senator asked. Voss nodded. "The cracks are already there. We just need to push." At the edge of known space, a new face entered the game. Lady Kael Thun, a noble from an old Empire family. She had served the Empire all her life, but after seeing the files about the children, she could no longer stay silent. Kael met with a secret group of rebel leaders from 10 different worlds. "We always knew the Empire was cruel," she said, "but this is beyond cruel. This is evil." One rebel leaned forward. "Then help us. Your ships, your name, your voice." Kyle looked at the stars. "The humans will not stop, nor should they. I will stand with them." The first noble had joined the rebellion, and many more would follow. In deep space, hidden in a secure location, Arya trained with Earth's top scientists. She could connect her thoughts to machines. Her brain had been changed by the Empire, but now she would use it against them. General Voss visited her often, but he didn't talk like a general. He spoke like a father. "You don't have to fight," he told her. Arya looked up. "But they took others too. Like me. I have to help." Voss knelt down. "Then we'll help each other. We do this together." Meanwhile, the Empire's control was breaking. Whole star systems stopped paying taxes. Some planets kicked out Empire forces. Pirate groups joined the human side, hungry for revenge. Even some Empire soldiers began to surrender. The Empress watched it all in silence. Then she sent one final order. "Unleash the Shadow Guard. Find the girl. Destroy her." The Shadow Guard were the Empire's most feared agents. Silent, deadly, and unknown to most of the galaxy. They never failed a mission. Now they had one target, Arya Voss. Earth was preparing for its biggest war yet. The galaxy was changing, and somewhere deep inside the Empire was cracking, because no matter how strong an empire is, you cannot crush a parent's will. You cannot hide the truth forever, and you never steal from humanity. Arya Voss had become more than just a rescued child. She was now a symbol, a living reason why Earth had declared war, a reminder of what the Empire had done. But to her father, General Ethan Voss, she was still his little girl. And to the Empire, she was the greatest threat they had ever created, because the child they once tried to use as a weapon was now learning how to fight for Earth. High above Mars, in the blackness of space, a hidden training ship floated silently. Inside, the Best minds of Earth worked day and night, helping Arya control her strange abilities. She could connect to machines without touching them. She could sense energy fields, read encrypted data with her mind, and even stop moving drones by thought alone. At first it had scared her, but now she was growing stronger. Not just because of training, but because of hope. She wasn't alone anymore. One evening, Arya stood on the viewing deck looking at the stars. Her long brown hair moved softly as the ship hummed around her. Beside her stood Dr. Mira Lane, her teacher and friend. "Do you ever wonder why they chose you?" Mira asked gently. Arya nodded. "They said my brain worked differently, faster. I could feel things. Others couldn't." Mira smiled. "You're more than what they made you. You're what you choose to be now." Arya looked at the stars. "Then I choose to fight. For the other children. For Earth." Meanwhile, the Empire had released its most feared force, the Shadow Guard. They were unseen, unknown, and unmerciful. Each Shadow Guard wore armor that blended with light, moved without sound, and carried weapons never seen before. Their mission was clear: find Arya Voss and erase her. But Earth knew they were coming. So General Voss did something unexpected. He sent a message to the whole galaxy, a direct transmission. The screen lit up on thousands of planets. Alien citizens, traders, soldiers, and even Imperial workers stopped to watch. General Voss stood alone, wearing his black command coat. Behind him, the flag of Earth waved slowly. To every world watching, we did not start this war. We did not choose it, but we will finish it. The Empire took our children, they tortured them. They built weapons out of their minds. One of those children is my daughter. Her name is Arya Voss. She is alive, and we are coming for justice. If you stand with truth, with family, with freedom, then stand with us." The message ended. It was clear. The war had a face now, and that face was a child with green eyes who had survived the worst and was now leading the charge. Back on Velkar Prime, the Empress stared at the message in silence. Around her, the High Council whispered nervously. The people were talking. Riots had begun on some outer worlds. Soldiers were refusing orders. One counselor leaned forward. "The girl has become a flame, one spark, and the Empire burns." But the Empress only whispered one word. "Find her, Arya's." Training was complete. Now it was time to return to Earth's War Command. The Phantom's Edge, the same ship that had rescued her, brought her home again. But this time she wasn't a lost child. She was the future. General Voss waited for her at the landing pad. When she stepped out, their eyes met. He knelt, arms open. She ran into them. For a moment, the war faded. Just a father and his daughter, reunited again. Inside Earth's war hall, the generals met for their boldest mission yet, Operation Lionfall. Their target? Velkar Prime, the heart of the Empire. "This is not just an attack," General Voss said. "This is a message. We strike the crown and show the galaxy that the Empire can bleed." The others agreed, but there was worry. "They will throw everything at us," said Admiral Reyes. "Let them," Voss replied. "We're not going to fight for power. We're going to fight for what was taken." Arya stood behind him, silent, but strong. "And we're bringing someone who can break their walls from the inside." On the day of the mission, thousands of human ships rose into orbit. They were sleek, fast, and silent. The stars filled with Earth's steel and fire. Arya sat in the command ship, her eyes glowing slightly as she focused on enemy signals. She reached out with her mind and whispered, "I see them." Empire forces appeared fast, hundreds of cruisers, drones, and destroyers. They fired without warning, but Earth was ready. Arya used her gift to bend Empire signals, blind their sensors, and crack their code. The humans punched through like thunder. "Velkar Prime," alarms screamed. The Empress stood at the balcony of her palace, watching her sky burn red. She clenched her fists. Bring me the girl. But it was too late. Arya had landed. Protected by Earth's elite guard, she moved toward. The palace explosion shook the air, civilians fled. And in the middle of chaos, one child walked straight toward the symbol of all oppression. General Voss led the front, fighting side by side with his soldiers. He had promised Arya she wouldn't face this alone, and he never broke promises. The Empire's forces tried to stop them, but the people of Velkar Prime joined them. The lies had broken, truth had spread, and Arya had lit the fire of rebellion across the stars. As the final tower of the palace fell, Arya stood in front of the Empire's throne. It was empty. The Empress had vanished. But it didn't matter, because the Empire had already lost, not just the war, but the respect, the fear, and the control they had held for so long. Earth didn't take the throne. They didn't claim the galaxy. They simply sent one message. To all, we wanted peace, but if you hurt our children, we will rise, we will fight, and we will win. The fall of Velkar Prime's palace shook the galaxy. The mighty empire which had ruled for centuries was now a fractured shadow of itself. Planets that once trembled in fear started to breathe freely. Many sent messages of support to Earth and General Voss. The war was far from over, but a new hope had awakened, the hope of freedom. On Earth, celebrations filled the streets. The people cheered for Arya, the brave child who had faced the Empire's heart and won. Yet amid the joy, General Voss knew the fight had just begun. In a large conference room, surrounded by Earth's leaders and military commanders, Voss stood firm. We have won a great victory, but the Empire will not fall quickly. It will try to gather strength, and many worlds still suffer under its rule. A senator spoke carefully. What is our next move, General? Voss looked toward Arya, who stood quietly by his side. Her eyes held a fierce light. We must help those who want freedom. We cannot leave them alone. It's time to unite the free worlds. Far from Earth, Lady Kael'thon's rebellion grew stronger. She led fleets of ships that once belonged to the Empire. She worked with rebel leaders from many planets, planning the next steps. At a secret base on the planet Kralix, Kael met with a group of commanders. The Empire is weak but dangerous, she warned. They will fight back hard. We need allies. One commander asked, Will Earth join us? Kael smiled. They already have. And with Arya leading them, the galaxy's future is changing. Meanwhile, the Shadow Guard was not finished. Though their mission to kill Arya had failed, they were still a threat. Commander Rika, leader of Earth's elite forces, prepared her team for defense. The Shadow Guard will come again, she said. We must be ready. Her team trained, harder than ever, knowing every battle could decide the fate of billions. On Velkar Prime, unrest grew. Without the Empress's strong rule, factions fought for power. Many citizens joined the new rebellion, inspired by Arya's courage and Earth's determination. But danger still lurked. The Empress had escaped, hiding in the outer systems. She gathered her loyal followers, planning to strike back. Back on Earth, Arya visited a memorial for the children lost in the Empire's cruel experiments. The names of hundreds of children were carved in shining stone. Arya placed a small flower on the memorial. I will make sure your stories are not forgotten, she whispered. General Voss placed his hand on her shoulder. And we will make sure no child suffers like this again. The human fleet grew larger. Ships came from every corner of the solar system. Engineers worked day and night to build new weapons and defenses. Scientists studied Arya's abilities, hoping to learn from her and improve their own technology. She is a bridge between us and the future, said Dr. Mira Lane. Then came the call, a distress signal from a distant planet called Voralon. It was a small colony under attack by Empire forces trying to reclaim lost territory. Without hesitation, General Voss ordered a fleet to assist. Arya volunteered to lead the mission. This is our chance to show the galaxy that freedom is real, she said. The battle for Voralon was fierce. The Empire sent heavy ships and ground forces, but Earth's fleet was ready. Arya used her mental abilities to confuse the enemies, communications, turning their own ships against each other. The people of Vorlon fought bravely alongside Earth soldiers. Together, they pushed the Empire's forces back. After the victory, Arya addressed the people of Vorlon. You are free. Free to live your own lives. Free to choose your own future. Her words spread quickly through the galaxy. More worlds sent messages asking for help and offering support. Back on Velkar Prime, the Empress's followers grew desperate. They launched attacks on rebel-held systems, causing destruction and fear. But with every attack, the rebellion grew stronger. They learned, adapted, and refused to back down. One night, Arya stood with General Voss, looking at the stars. "Will this war ever end?" she asked quietly. Voss smiled softly. "Wars end when people choose peace, and that peace will be built by those brave enough to fight for it." Arya nodded. "Then I will keep fighting." The galaxy was changing, the Empire's power was fading, and humanity was rising. The galaxy was on the edge of a new era. The once mighty Galactic Empire had lost its grip on many worlds. The fires of rebellion burned bright, led by Earth and the brave people who refused to live under fear. But the Empress had one last plan. Deep, inside a hidden fortress on the dark moon of Zaltor, the Empress gathered her remaining loyal forces. Her face was cold and fierce. She had lost much, but she would not lose everything. "We fight not for the throne, but for the survival of our race," she declared. "Earth and their allies think they can destroy us. They are wrong." Her generals bowed. The Shadow Guard stood ready, silent and deadly. On Earth, General Ethan Voss stood in the war room studying a map of the galaxy. Red dots showed where the Empire still held power. Many were preparing for the final battle. Arya entered, her expression serious but calm. "Father, the Empress is gathering her forces at Zaltor," she said. Voss nodded. "It's time. We cannot wait for her to strike first. We must end this war now." The fleet prepared. Thousands of ships carrying soldiers, weapons, and hope moved toward the dark moon. Arya sat in the command center, her mind linked to the fleet's systems. She could feel every ship, every soldier. This is more than a battle, she thought. It is the future of all free worlds. As Earth's fleet approached Zaltor, the Empress unleashed her secret weapon, the Shadow Pulse, a wave of dark energy designed to disable machines and confuse minds. The fleet shook. Ships lost power. Communications died. But Arya was ready. She reached deep inside herself, focusing her thoughts. Slowly, the machines began to respond again. The dark energy lost its strength. The fleet pushed forward. The battle on the surface was fierce. Soldiers fought through storm and fire, dodging traps and enemy strikes. The Shadow Guard appeared again and again, but Arya's team was ready. Commander Rika led the elite forces with skill and courage. They protected Arya as she moved toward the Empress's fortress. Inside the fortress, the Empress waited. She stood tall, her eyes cold as ice. "You think you can end this?" she asked when Arya entered. Arya met her gaze. "I think I can. And the pain you caused. The war is over." The Empress smiled, a cruel smile. "Then come and take it." The final battle was a clash of minds and wills. Arya used her unique abilities to block the Empress's attacks and protect her allies. The Empress, powerful and experienced, fought with strength and dark magic. But Arya's heart was stronger. She fought not just for herself, but for every child taken, every world hurt. As the battle reached its peak, Arya found an opening. With a burst of energy, she broke through the Empress's defenses. The Empress fell to her knees. "No," the Empress whispered. Arya stood tall. "It's over." With the Empress's defeat, the Shadow Guard vanished. The remaining Empire forces surrendered. The war was finally over. Arya and General Voss stood together, watching as peace returned to the galaxy. In the days that followed, the free worlds came together to rebuild. Arya spoke at the first Galactic Peace Summit. We fought hard to protect what is right, but now we must work together to keep peace. The galaxy is our home, all of us. The crowd cheered. For the first time, many felt hope instead of fear. Back on Earth, Arya visited the memorial once more. This time she stood not as a victim but as a leader, a daughter of war who had changed the fate of the stars. General Voss smiled at her. "You have made us proud." Arya looked at the sky, the stars shining bright. "We have a long road ahead, but I believe in us. The galaxy was free, the Empire was no more, and humanity had proven that even in the darkest times, hope and courage can shine the brightest."